Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to West Gym for today's Knights Online doubleheader broadcast of MIAC basketball between the Augsburg Aggies and the Carleton Knights. Kicking off the afternoon is the Knights men's team. I'm Jacob Smith. Alongside me, as always, is Eric Jones, and we're happy to have you with us this evening at West Gym. Eric, the Knights are going to be looking to take advantage of an Aggies team coming off what will certainly go down as their worst loss of the season.
Yeah, Jacob, this Augie squad went up to St. Paul to face the number 9 Tommies and lost 101-60. The real difference in that one came in the form of the 3 ball, with St. Thomas making 15 shots from deep compared to just 3 for the Augies. Make no mistake, though, this Augsburg team is still a dangerous one. They have received many votes in the national poll, although having never been ranked this season. Even after this tough loss, they still sit tied for 3rd in the conference and are still one of the best teams the MIAC has to offer.
The Knights themselves are coming off a victory against the Concordia Cobbers that saw 4 Knights finish in double figures. Alex Batiste had one heck of a game in his return to the court from an ankle injury, dropping 24 points and pulling down 9 rebounds. Fellow big man Jeremy Beckler got 19 points of his own, but they're going to have their hands full with the Augie post players this afternoon.
It's safe to say that perhaps the most fearsome post player we've seen on the court in West Gym, the 6'10 James Streeter, will be coming off the bench for Augsburg today. In a very typical 6-man role, Streeter has no starts this season, but is 4th on the team in points per game and scores with a ridiculous efficiency at 66% from the field. Even more dangerous for this Carleton defense will be senior guard Booker Copeland, who paces the MIAC with 21.8 points per game. While not the most efficient scorer, Copeland definitely gets the job done and quietly pulls down 8.3 rebounds per game and dishes out 3.4 assists. Those numbers are good for 4th and 8th in the conference.
The Knights met up with the Aggies earlier this year at Augsburg on December 7th and fought hard for a half, but the offense sputtered in the second half, and the Knights wound up losing by a score of 73-57. But that was almost 2 months ago. Carleton's young core of Batiste, Beckler, and Testier have matured a lot in the time since these two last met. If Carleton's offense can sustain for 40 minutes, today's end result could be much different.
Yeah, Coach Cullen has definitely praised that young core in every single pregame interview we've had with him. He also said about the blowout that Augsburg had against St. Thomas, it was not one that anyone in the entire state of Minnesota was expecting, and the Augies should come into this one hungry to not play back-to-back sloppy games.
Coach Grease's lineup has senior Martin Mitchell and junior Matt Carrick in the backcourt. First-year Joe Palmer and Copeland are at the forward spots, and senior Carter Duncan will get the nod in the paint. Be sure to look for Streeter to come off the bench and have an immediate impact.
Yeah, and for Carleton, it's no surprises. Benson and Tessier man the backcourt. They still rank 1st and 4th in assists per game, respectively. Carleton's dangerous front court is now intact and ready to score. The trio of Hanson, Beckler, and Batiste can all score both inside and out, and they all rank in the top 10 in scoring in the conference. Carleton is the only MIAC team to feature 3 such scorers in the top 10 of scoring.
And we would now like to take this time and turn it over to the public address announcer for our national anthem and pregame announcements.
Cooperation by supporting the participants and officials in a
For our viewers at home, for the Augsburg Aggies, number 4, that was not Booker Copeland. That was Joe Palmer who was introduced.
My guess is they are, they switched the two around.
Now here comes Booker Copeland.
Typically, you do have your 2 best players come out first and last when introducing basketball teams. So a fair mistake that you would introduce the MIAC leading scorer first and not Joe Palmer, who's getting his 2nd start this season.
Yeah, but I think you could make that case for the Knights too, necessarily. I mean, I think Kent Hanson got introduced first.
Well,
and not to say that Kent Hanson is significantly better than anybody else in the Knights starting lineup, but in his credit, he is the only player with an all-region credit to his name.
Oh, absolutely, but I think they give that nod to Henry Benson, who's the other senior and sort of the lifeblood of this offense and a very quiet leader in his own right. I don't know.
No, he's a huge part of this team. Of course he is.
That's just what happens when you have 2 superstars.
Yeah, that's what happens, you know.
1 first and 1 second.
Yeah.
It's like LeBron and AD. AD comes out first, LeBron comes out last.
There's a sort of like level of, you know, sentimentalness to it, right? Like,
right.
I remember when Miami had the big 3, they introduced LeBron first, even though it was LeBron's team, right? And Dwayne Wade they always introduce last because it's Dwayne Wade and he's in Miami.
It's Dwayne. It was debatable.
It's
That's
LeBron's
debatable.
team.
But with that concludes our starting lineups delivered to you by Bon Appetit and our Robert Barrett Strength and Conditioning pregame show, and we'll get right into tip. It'll be Carter Duncan facing off against Alex Batiste. Batiste with 1 inch of height advantage, so we'll see how that factors into the tip.
And we are all set to play basketball here at West Gym. This is game 1 of 2 from West Gym this afternoon between the Carleton Knights program and that of the Augsburg Aggies. This Augsburg team, very dangerous. I believe they lead the MIAC in terms of total offense. Already we see Batiste guarding Copeland. There's a 3-ball from Matt Carrick. Start the afternoon off on a right note for the Aggies. Coach Collin made sure to let us know that Carleton and Augsburg both would be working a lot off on-ball screens, and there's an answer from Kent Hanson. A lot of 3 balls being shot already here today.
And there's the matchup I think we'll see most of this day. It's Kent Hanson against Booker Copeland. You mentioned Batiste was on Copeland in the first possession. I think that was just a mismatch brought about by a screen.
I think you're right. There's another 3-ball. That one from Joe Palmer. That's no good. Carleton coming off pretty 2 strong games. I mean, they obviously handled Concordia. There's some nice ball movement for the Knights. Isaac Tessier for 3. No good. Copeland pushes the tempo.
Yeah, it looked like Augsburg was about to have a wide open 3, but the pass a little bit mishandled by Matt Carrick there.
Now there's Batiste, which on to Copeland again, and a corner 3 from Booker Copeland.
Yeah, and even just watching him for these first 2 minutes, Copeland really seems to be the type of player that just brings the energy to his team. You saw him pump up the Augsburg Road fans here in the intros, and a little bit of a celebration after his 3.
Alex Batiste puts it in for 2. Excellent entry pass to lead him. Now it's funny, Copeland leads the MIAC in scoring, but you also mentioned that he pulls down pretty quiet, 8 rebounds.
Yeah, that's 4th in the MIAC actually, 8.3 rebounds. He sits right between Kent Hanson, who's 3rd, and Alex Batiste, who's 5th in the MIAC in rebounding numbers.
There's a nice block from number 44, Carter Duncan on Alex Batiste. That looked to be an easy bucket.
Yeah, and Alex thought so too.
Pull-up three from Mitchell, no good. 6-5, Augies early.
And Augsburg does not yet have a shot attempt inside the line. Perhaps something to note as we get further into this one.
Copeland for three. No good. You know, Eric, I have a feeling that this Augsburg team really likes to shoot the basketball.
They really do, and I think that's probably one of the reasons they lost so badly to St. Thomas is they were only able to make 3 3-pointers in that game, and my guess is as they continued to get behind, they kept shooting them, they just couldn't make them. Again, Augsburg already with 2 3-point baskets in the first 3.5 minutes of this one.
Benson's layup is good. He got a big screen from Jeremy Beckler on that one.
Yeah, he did, and this might be the earliest we've seen Henry Benson score in a game.
I think Henry needs to shoot more. Between Henry Benson and Erica Ellefson, 2 players from this night's basketball program that I think need to shoot the basketball.
Yeah, 2 experienced seniors that just don't get the type of shot volume they should.
There's a nice post move from Carter Duncan for 2. Knights coming off a game against the Cobbers that saw 4 players score in double figures. There's Jeremy Beckler with the right-handed layup from the left side. And we're going to see a substitution for the Knights here. Beck Page is going to come on. And Batista is going to come off.
A short timeout there was just for Batista to tie a shoe, but he was getting subbed off anyway.
We got to think that this is going to be a pretty short break for Alex. I figure that at some point, probably sooner than later, Streeter is going to come on, and they're going to want to bring Alex back to try and guard him.
Yeah, again, James Streeter, 6'10". It's just absolutely massive body. We saw him in warm-ups. Should be a very imposing force down low.
We've seen a lot of defensive battles here at West Gym over the course of this season as Page takes a corner 3. That's no good. We've seen a lot of defensive battles over the course of this season here, especially on the women's side. I do not think that this game is going to be a defensive battle. There's another 3-ball. That one for Martin Mitchell. 13-9 Augies.
And I think Martin Mitchell may have heard you as he took that shot. Augies already have 13 points just 5 minutes into the first half.
There's Kent Hanson. Yep, Kent Hanson is second 3-pointer of the game. This is starting to look like an NBA game, Eric. Not to say
You're
there's
not
minimal
wrong.
defense being played, but this is going to be a shootout. You can already tell. Copeland on Beckler. Nice drive from Booker Copeland.
You just got to hope that this Carleton defense, which Coach Guy Cullen stresses defense above anything else, maybe they can hold Augsburg to a little bit less than they average. I mean, this Carleton defense notorious for holding teams to about 10 points less than they average on the year. They did it against St. John's.
There's another 3-ball from Joe Palmer. And the Augies are making it rain early. That is at least 4 threes. Henry Benson. Kick to the corner to Tessier. Beckler turnaround with the right hand. Yep, Jeremy Beckler gets it to go. And Coach Cullen is going to call the first Gatorade timeout of the afternoon.
Yeah,
Man, it doesn't look like, obviously guys are playing defense, but some of these offensive outbursts that we've seen, it certainly doesn't feel like it.
it looks a little bit like a shoot-around.
I mean, Augsburg certainly shooting like it's a shoot-around. Jeremy Beckler having no problem getting to the rim, neither has Henry Benson. Some wide open lanes to finish. Kent Hanson already has 2 threes. We're not even 7 minutes into this one.
Yeah, Hanson has 2, and this Augsburg team has 4. Every Augie with a 3-point bucket, except for the center, Carter Duncan.
You know, as unfortunate as I think it is, if Carleton can't figure out how to stop this Augies team, I think it's going to be a total shootout. I mean, there's nothing more to it than that. There's a pull-up J. That was from number 3, Matt Carrick. That's no good.
Right, and Carleton's not necessarily the last team that wants to be involved in a shootout. They have the shooters to play that type of game. The problem is that's just not the way they want to be playing a game. They want to be in control of the tempo, and so far it looks like Augsburg has really just pushed the pace in this one. Very high-octane offense that's just been burying shots from outside so far.
I don't think Carleton's played too many teams that lives and dies this much by the perimeter. Duncan with the right hand. Yes. Good defense from Batiste, but Duncan hit it falling away. (2014) Augsburg. Hanson, another 3. Yes! Kent Hanson has 3 3-pointers to start this one off.
And he perhaps has been keeping Carleton single-handedly in this game. 3 for 3 from behind the arc for Hanson so far. And there's an athletic layup from Booker Copeland.
It's a great finish from Copeland. He has 7.
Yeah, top 2 scores in this one. Hanson and Copeland both doing their job on offense. Hanson has 9 points to his name.
Here's Kent now. Back to Hanson. 8 to shoot. Hanson, pull up 3. Bang! Kent Hanson with his 4th 3-pointer.
And he hasn't missed yet.
4 for 4. Goodness gracious, Kent Hanson. We've seen him do a lot of impressive things, but you know, maybe it was the solemn warm-up music at the beginning of the game. For context, the Carleton, of course, the Carleton men are in charge of the warm-up playlist that plays before the game, and they did something a bit unusual. That's a nice pass from Henry Benson into Page for the and one.
We don't see Page go inside too often, but he can do it.
He can. And we're going to have some substitutions. Tessier's going to come off. Beckler comes on. And for the Augies, James Streeter.
And
enters
Henry
the
Mulligan.
game. And Henry Mulligan.
Interestingly enough, Mulligan had started every single game he played except for one, whereas his counterpart, Joe Palmer, had come off the bench in every single game but one, but their roles reversed in this game, and number 4 and 5 sort of getting a little bit of a switch. I don't know if we heard that Mulligan had twisted his ankle a little bit before the game.
We didn't
so
hear
that may be a factor into why he did not get the nod, but he's out on the court regardless.
He tries a 3 there. Tip attempt from Palmer's no good. As I was saying a little earlier, Eric, the Carleton men's team has control of the aux cord during warm-ups, and they were playing some not what you would expect to hear during a basketball warm-up. Jeremy Beckler puts in his 6th point of the game, gives the Knights the lead.
25-24. Both teams on pace to score 100 points. There's our first look at Streeter inside.
Great defense by Kent Hanson. Forces the jump ball on Streeter.
Big block. A 4-inch height advantage from Streeter, proving no help against the always tough Kent Hanson.
He is a big kid, isn't he? Streeter just looks so much bigger compared to everybody, even though he's really not.
He looks
right?
He looks like he could be an NBA power forward.
Beckler pull-up jumper's good. 27-24.
Speaking of power forwards, Beckler's got 8 of his own here.
You know, obviously, I think Streeter has a size advantage, but I think Beckler is just a little bit quicker than Streeter, and I think we saw it just there.
Yeah, all these Carleton bigs, you'd hope, are quicker than Streeter. I mean, we know Kent Hanson, very athletic player.
2 to shoot. Benson gets a tip on it, and that'll be a shot clock violation.
What a play by Henry Benson to just poke the ball out of the leading Mayak scorer, force the shot clock expiration.
Henry Benson doing Henry Benson things. I mean, what more can you ask for?
Things.
It's what he does. That is what he does.
Yeah, and that one's just kind of, I think, more than even giving up the possession for Augsburg, is it'll get in the head of Booker Copeland the next time he sees Henry Benson come off a screen, I think.
Beckler whistled for the travel. Tried to stretch up and under the basket. 27-24 early. Palmer's fouled. He's going to go to the line and get shoot 2.
To me, that did not look like a foul at all. Although I was not looking at the lower hand of Batiste. It was the higher hand that got a pretty clean block on the ball there. But
interestingly enough, both teams only have 1 foul.
Well, that's what happens in shootouts is you don't pound the rock down low.
No.
You're just not going to get fouled as much.
Man, what a fascinating game already.
Yeah, and great to see Carleton in the lead. Meanwhile, other games around the Mayak, nowhere near as high scoring as this one is, although that may have to factor in the fact that a lot of the matchups happening around the Mayak today somewhat mismatches.
Palmer missed them both, got his own rebound, collects another one. Now here's Copeland with 2 hands, puts it in.
And that's a tough possession. You're not going to see too many teams get multiple offensive rebounds in one possession. Just a tough break for Carleton.
Tessier with some quickness, rejected by Streeter.
You saw the height there.
Pull back 3 from Carrick, no good. Now here's Batiste, driving with the right, yes. Some nice big man athleticism there shown by Batiste. You know, next time Isaac Tessier has a drive, I'm pretty sure we're going to see him pump fake his way and try and get Streeter up in the air.
Not a bad strategy.
Well, I mean, after that, what are you going to do? You obviously can't go up in one motion because Streeter's going to meet you at the rim.
Oh,
Beck Page for 3. No good.
It was a great extra pass from Alex, though.
Yes, it was. Copeland. Driving on Hanson. Blocked by Kent Hanson. Nice job by Kent to hang in there. Coach Grease screaming from his bench, trying to get a pick and roll with Streeter involved. 6 to shoot for the Augies. Mulligan from way downtown, no good.
Carleton's been holding in there.
They have.
Augsburg not shooting terrible from the field, but Carleton has been lights out in this one. 73% from the field and 66% from the arc.
Nice athleticism on the pass by Tessier. Nearly traveled, jumped up in the air, had to hang up there for a bit. Found Batiste at the last moment for the score.
That's why he's 4th in the Mayak in assists. Yeah, that was a mismatch.
Yep. Lob pass from Carrick to Streeter.
Tessier was on Streeter there, and Hanson a little bit too late in the rotation to help.
And that just shouldn't happen. Isaac Tessier on a guy like Streeter. Slam dunk by Alex Batiste.
I don't know if I saw that one coming.
I didn't either.
We know he can do it.
Tessier got him a great pass in the lane, and Alex Batiste exploded for a thunderous dunk.
Well, Matt Carrick's only 6'1", and he got him jumping.
Copeland goes up. Hanson called for the block.
The block? The ref may be wondering if that was a charge.
I think the issue might have been, I think Kent may have been a bit too low. What I mean by that is I think...
Yep,
yeah,
in the restricted lane.
Kent was in the restricted area.
Or restricted area, sorry.
So that is only the second foul for the Knights. Obviously nobody in foul trouble.
Yeah, Copeland should knock these down. An 84% shooter from the line, one of the best in the MIAC. This entire Augsburg team, very good from the line. Their top 6 scorers all shoot over 80%.
As a team, they shoot 76. It's pretty good.
Yeah, a la Carleton women.
Benson gets a screen from Alex. Here's Batiste now. Working on Duncan. Finishes under the rim. Batiste has 10.
And on that move, Batiste just looked a lot quicker than Duncan.
Well, Copeland looked a lot quicker than Batiste there. Alex got switched onto Booker Copeland from a screen, and there just wasn't too much that Alex could do about that.
Copeland is just so shifty. He's already got 13.
Hanson sweeps through. Pass intended for Page, intercepted by Copeland. Here's Copeland now. Guarded by Benson. Kick out 3 for Mitchell. No good. Palmer tried to save it. Out of bounds, Augsburg.
We've seen good hustle from both teams. Kent Hanson thought he had a wide open Beck Page, but Booker Copeland read that passing lane like a safety and picked it off.
Copeland leads scores with 13. Hanson has 12, all coming from three-pointers. Batiste is the only other player with double figures. He has 10. Hanson, pull up 3.
Stop it.
Goodness gracious, Kent Hanson. 5 for 5 from three-point land to start the game.
Oh my
goodness. Answer from Booker Copeland. Man, it's a fun game to watch, huh? How many times do we see good three-point shooting at West Gym?
I mean, other than Kent Hanson and Katie Chavez.
Yes. Beckler in the paint, blocked by Duncan. This is the best shooting that I think we've seen all year.
Yeah, absolutely. Carleton shooting 60% from behind the arc. All of those makes coming from Kent Hanson, though, who's a perfect 5 for 5 from 3. Beck Page looked for the steal. He's sort of like, oh man, I actually had that one?
Beck Page took it away from Copeland.
That's the MIAC's best scorer right there.
Beckler working on Duncan. Falling away, no good.
And we haven't seen any scoring in the last minute here. Probably the biggest stretch of that, yeah.
This has been a really quick half, considering there's been, a grand total of 3 fouls, and I think only 1 timeout. I think Coach Collin took 1 timeout, and I'm not sure Augsburg's taken one.
Yeah, only 3 minutes left in this half. Meanwhile, other games around the MIAC still with anywhere from 10 to 7 minutes left on the clock.
3 minutes left here. Quick inbound 3 by Palmer ties it up. Joe Palmer knots us at 38. He's in double figures now.
That was Augsburg's 15th three-point attempt of the half.
Hanson, 5 for 5 from deep. Beckler tries the three. Beckler is fouled. So Jeremy's going to go to the line for 3. And as far as Carleton Knights to put at the free throw line, Jeremy Beckler is not the guy that Augsburg wants to see there.
No, 76% shooter from the line.
Carleton's best.
Not necessarily a number you want to see from your best free throw shooter, but
you'd hope that
you'll take it.
Hope that number would be a little higher.
Well, for a freshman big guy like Beckler, 77%,
That's great.
which is probably up to 77 now with those 2 makes. That's a great percentage.
That's
the
fantastic. problem is, I mean, Kent Hanson gets 68.4.
Right.
Tessier gets
Tessier just
67.
doesn't really go to the actually he does.
Alex gets 61.
Henry Benson does not really go to the line that
No.
much, and it kind of shows with his 55%.
So Beckler hits 3 in a row. And he now has 11, and it gives the Knights a 3-point lead.
I wonder if we'll see a 3-point attempt from the Augies.
We will. There's Copeland for 3. Booker Copeland and Kent Hanson putting on a 3-point show here at West Gym.
It's like watching a marquee NBA matchup.
I know.
Top 2 scorers in the MIAC really showing up in this game.
Kent Hanson. They're going to stick to him like glue for the rest of this one.
Coach Guy Cullen wanted Kent to drive there.
Batiste, pullback 3. Yes! Alex Batiste with the shot clock low drills a 3.
And we know about Kent Hanson, but I don't know if they've done the scouting report on Alex Batiste, who's been out other than last game for the last 4 games before that. And in his 24-point performance, he actually went 0 for 3 from behind the arc. So Augsburg, not a lot of film on Alex Batiste shooting from outside.
Copeland in the lane. He has 21 before the
He
break.
already has 21 points.
Already has 21.
There's a reason he's tops in the MIAC in scoring. And we've seen that right here.
Like you said, he's not the most efficient scorer, but man, he just looks really comfortable and really aware when he's driving to the hoop.
Well, he's been pretty darn efficient in this one. 8 for 12 from the field and 3 for 5 from behind the arc.
And here he comes again.
Well over 50% in both facets, although he misses that shot.
Copeland got some nice space on Kent Hanson, but was unable to convert. 45 seconds to play in this first half. It's been a fun one.
Try to get the 2 for 1 here if you're Carleton.
Kent Hanson 5 for 5 from deep. Booker Copeland has been pretty dominant offensively. Batiste, 6 to shoot. 2-pointer no good. Here come the Augies. And Augsburg will take a timeout and talk over this last possession.
Yeah, they'll hold for last shot. That's what I was saying. And the 2 for 1 is if you're Carleton, you want to score or at least put up a shot before that clock hits 30 seconds so that Augsburg forced to give you the ball back regardless of how much time they use. But sadly, the Carleton Knights maybe not a huge proponent of the 2 for 1 chance.
(44-43). One of the highest scoring halves that we've seen in at least a couple weeks here at West Gym. It's the highest scoring half that I remember.
Yeah, and as we look around the conference, these other men's games going on, only 2 other teams in the MIAC, or 3 now, as Bethel just made a 3-pointer, but only 3 other teams around the MIAC over 30 points in the first half of their games. Those being St. Thomas, who's up 36-8, or 41-12 now against Gustavus. St. Mary's is up against Concordia after a terrible start to the game where they were down 8-0. They've now taken control of that one, and Bethel handling McAllister, 32-21 the score in that one.
For Carleton, Batiste has 13. Beckler has 11. And Hanson has 15. That Carleton front court that we talk so much about. 8 to shoot now. 5 seconds. There's a 3 ball from Carrick, no good. Rebound from Mitchell. 1 second on the clock. Tip in by Palmer is no good. And that will end the half.
And great job by Jeremy Beckler to prevent Booker Copeland from even touching the ball on that last possession, giving Carleton a 1-point advantage as we head into halftime. We'll see you after 15.
Ooh, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to West Gym as we get set to go for the second half of the first game of a MIAC doubleheader between the Augsburg Aggies and the Carleton Knights. Eric, this has been one heck of a fun first half to call. Really entertaining one to watch. Kent Hanson is 5 for 5 from the field, 5 for 5 from deep, and the Knights have a 1-point lead against this Aggies team heading into the second.
Yeah, an incredible first half from both sides. 34 made field goals, 13 made threes between the two of them. And Carleton has been shooting hyper efficiently in this one. 63% from the field and 60% from deep. They've also made all 4 of their free throws courtesy of a Jeremy Beckler 3-point foul that he drew. And he went to the line for 3, nailed all of them.
I think this is just a case of two teams playing pretty good basketball. I mean, the defense hasn't been bad. The defense really hasn't been bad. We've seen some great defensive plays from both ends.
Yeah, great defensive plays, but the offense has just been a lot better for both teams than the opposing team's defense, and that's why you see this 44-43 game.
You know, defense wins championships, but, you know, depending on the situation, offense wins games. And obviously offense is a critical factor here. I think it's just going to come down to whoever can play some defense. Not much being played there as Duncan has an easy layup off the pick and roll.
Yeah, Jeremy Beckler, I think, potentially tried to draw him into getting blocked. The problem was Duncan just did a nice little reverse layup to avoid any chance that Beckler had of blocking that shot.
There's some nice D played by Carrick. Here come the Aggies. Copeland underneath. Fouled by Batiste. From our angle, it didn't really look like Copeland had possession. Yet he'll go to the free throw line.
I think he did have possession. Tried to chuck up a shot. Batiste looked to block it, but I think he just got a little bit too low in Copeland's personal space, and that's why the foul was drawn.
He got into him.
He did get into him.
He gave him the business.
Yeah, we've seen this ref crew quite a few times here at West Gym. I'm not positive if that was the same one that made that now infamous call in Knights Online basketball.
Augie's off to a quick start. Quick 4 points. 47-44. Batiste for 3. Rims out.
That's a tough break for Carleton. They're going to have to avoid a score from Augsburg here.
Copeland from deep. Back iron. Rebound goes to Duncan. He can't get it to go with the right hand. Tip out to Carrick. And Augsburg is going to get it back.
And even more offensive rebounds for the Aggies. Carleton actually did have the advantage in the defensive rebounding department in the first half, but Augsburg had 6 offensive rebounds, and there's another, looks to be 2 or 3 this possession.
Great inside D being played there by Isaac Tessier. Henry Benson, lob pass to Batiste. He corrals it, blocked by Copeland. Outside to Kent Hanson, who finally comes down to earth and misses a 3. If he would have started 6 for 6, I would have gone nuts. Carter Duncan is an animal on the offensive glass, but can't get it to go that time.
Yeah, he is. I wonder how many of those offensive rebounds in the first half were his. Looks like only 1, but he's definitely had at least 2 in this half so far.
Off-ball foul. That goes against Palmer.
So a rare foul.
A rare foul in this one. Palmer is the only Augie to have more than 1 foul. He has 2. Not very consequential at this point in the game.
Yeah, Batiste also with 2 for the Knights. Those are the only 2 players with multiple fouls, even remotely close to foul trouble.
Beckler from downtown. Back iron.
Yeah, Batiste with a great athletic play to tip that one away from any of the Augies, but no one was there.
Yeah, I was gonna say there was just nobody to grab that tip. And Copeland came down kind of hard afterwards. Carter Duncan gets a screen for Carrick. Augsburg running down this shot clock here. 7 to shoot. Mitchell in the lane with the left. Yes. Martin Mitchell extends. Gets it to go with the left hand.
Carleton's got to score here. No points yet in the first 3 minutes of the second half.
Great pass into Alex Batiste, who puts Carter Duncan on a poster.
And there's Henry Benson
What a
doing
momentum
Henry
swing.
Benson things on the other end, draws the charge.
Again, that Alex Batiste dunk seemed to come out of nowhere. I think that was Benson who made a great pass, and Batiste just sprung off the floor and threw it down with 2 hands right over Duncan.
Safe to say Batiste's ankle's all right?
It's all right. It is more
It's
than
more
all
than
right.
all right.
There's Batiste now, corner 3, bang! Alex Batiste with a 5-point swing for the Carleton Knights.
He can bang inside and he can bang from outside. Duncan a 3 for Batiste, bring him to 18 points now in this one.
Alex nearly got a steal there. Duncan trying to work on Beckler, can't get anything to go. Copeland, pull up 3. Yes.
He's
Booker
good.
Copeland is very good at basketball. He has 26 of Augsburg's 52. Hanson for 3. Yes. Kent Hanson has 6 threes.
A little bit of a lull to start the second half, but just like that, we're back into the rhythm we saw in the first.
Copeland for 2. Man, it's been a fun game to watch.
That was Copeland's 10th make of the game.
Hanson again, working to create a little space. Step back 3, a la James Harden. Oh, he didn't get it to go.
That would have been great.
That would have been great. He got Mitchell on his backside
I don't know if
off
Mitchell
the
was
crossover.
trying to draw a charge or what. Yeah, there's going to be a foul against Duncan. He just shoved Kent Hanson to the floor.
Foul goes against Carter Duncan. That's only his second. Little excitement.
Yeah.
Little bit of excitement here at West Gym.
Carleton men's basketball.
Hot ticket item here in Northfield, Minnesota.
I mean, their last 3 home games have been the overtime thriller against St. Mary's, where we saw Kent Hanson drop 33 and pull down 19 boards. Then the following game, Carleton played number 2 ranked St. John's very competitively until the very end, where the Johnnies were able to show why they're the number 2 team in the nation. And then the last game was a blowout victory against Concordia, where Carleton's offense was just firing on all cylinders. They had, again, 4 players in double digits in that one. And here against Augsburg, yet another great game for Carleton basketball.
Three ball from Palmer, no good. Rebound Henry Benson, and the break is on. Pass up to Tessier. Tessier finishes. Isaac Tessier hung up there, was able to finish. Ties this one up at 54. Meanwhile, Copeland is pretty much shooting whatever he wants to. I mean, at this point, Copeland can do what he wants. He's the leading scorer in the MIAC. He's got 28 already. Here's Copeland now, shimmying his way to the bucket for the score.
Yeah, he wanted that mismatch against Alex Batiste, and just too quick for the big man.
And Copeland's a very calculated offensive player. You only have to watch him a couple times to see it.
He's going to get booked for a foul there.
Yep, foul on Copeland. Reach on Kent Hanson.
I don't know how much of a difference that's going to make in
No.
terms of foul trouble. Number 30 with 30 already.
30
Just
points.
his first foul.
He's going to finish with 40 plus.
I'm wondering what his season high is.
How many
Potentially
does he
even
get a game? He
Career high. He gets 22,
gets 22
a game.
in 40 minutes. And he plays like 32 minutes a game. Hanson, guarded by Copeland, spinning with the right, air ball, rebound Palmer.
I think Hanson wanted the foul there.
I think so too.
You don't usually see Kent Hanson miss the rim.
Copeland kick out to Duncan for a 2. That's no good. First time we've seen Carter Duncan shoot the ball. Tessier spin move, under with the right, no foul call. Batiste with the putback.
Tessier almost put the most incredible English on the ball I've ever seen.
Palmer, guarded by Page. Page called with the foul. Armbar called on Beck Page.
Didn't really seem like too much was happening there. Page got open, and just like that, we see Batiste sub off and James Streeter come on. Maybe a little bit of a matchup play by Coach Aaron Grease.
Well, I think that could work both ways. We've seen Jeremy Beckler kind of pick Streeter apart off the dribble. And Streeter a huge presence and, you know, certainly a force to be reckoned with how big he is.
No, I'm curious as to how that's not travel. Booker Copeland took 2 steps.
Yeah.
And then took another step for the fade.
Well, you know, sometimes when you play like James Harden, take from Beckler, no good.
Oh,
Tessier pokes it away. 3 ball from Beckler, short. Anyway, as I was saying, when you play like James Harden, sometimes you get to get away with some of the steps that James Harden takes. There's a nice take by Matt Carrick. He puts the Aggies up 2. Excellent offensive basketball being played here at West Gym. Tessier drives in, can't finish. Beckler pulls down the board. He's working on Streeter with the left, gets it to go.
What a move down low from Jeremy Beckler.
Jeremy Beckler wins the battle with Streeter and ties this one up. And the Knights will call a Gatorade timeout.
I mean, I don't know what to say about this game of basketball.
This is awesome, man. I mean, we've seen 2 thunderous dunks from Alex. Kent Hanson at 6 threes. Booker Copeland is putting on an absolute offensive show. Seen some big blocks from Streeter. This is great, man. What more can you ask for? 12:08 left to play in this one. 58 all.
I guess what you could ask for is for Carleton to come out victorious.
Yeah, just about.
Against an Augsburg team 3rd in the MIAC.
Looking at some of these offensive rebound totals, Augsburg as a team has 10. Carleton has 1. And it goes to Alex Batiste. I think it was a putback.
It was a putback on an Isaac Tessier missed layup that just happened this quarter. Interesting note in this one, 3 Augsburg players have not subbed off yet.
Is Copeland one of them?
Copeland, Carrick, and Palmer have not come out of the game yet, which is a little bit interesting considering compared to these Carleton players, they don't really play as many minutes. Copeland averages 32 minutes a game, which would be good for 4th on Carleton's team. Sorry, would be good for 5th. He's just slightly behind Jeremy Beckler, who averages about half a minute more. So maybe we'll see these Augsburg players get a little bit tired. They're not as used to not as used to playing these big minutes that they've been forced to play against the Carleton defense.
What Carleton defense there's been. To their best efforts, they just cannot contain Booker Copeland. Palmer now. kind of fun to see Streeter out on the perimeter, isn't it? Copeland hangs in the air, can't finish. Tip in good from Streeter.
Of course Streeter gets there. I was about to say Carleton finally forces Copeland into an ugly-looking shot that he missed.
And he almost made it.
He almost made it. But of course Streeter right there that time for the putback. Streeter showing off a little bit of dexterity there, poking the ball loose from Isaac Tessier.
60-58. Beckler. Step back three. Foul called on Streeter.
Streeter's
Beckler will go to the line for three.
Got into his shooting space, and Beckler doing a great job drawing that foul.
I think Beckler totally recognizes that.
Another Harden-esque move.
Yep. Beckler totally recognizes that he is too quick for Streeter. Couple inches shorter and a heck of a lot quicker.
Now, whether that was a foul or not, you can really debate. But
Jeremy Beckler knows exactly what he's doing.
Yeah, he knows exactly how to draw those fouls. Sadly, misses the first.
Batiste checks in for Tessier.
We'll have
the front court.
Quote-unquote big boy lineup, as I like to call it.
The front court is back.
And Tessier comes off, not Beck Page, so a very tall lineup. Shortest player is 6'3". Or Henry Benson 6'1". I don't know why I think he's listed as 6'3".
Beck Page is 6'3"?
Beck Page is 6'3", yes.
I've seen Beck Page in the cafeteria. I'm not sure he's an inch taller than me. I'm 6'2". There's a nice pass from Karic into Streeter for the score.
Well, I don't know that Henry Benson's 6'1".
Yeah,
but
that might be a stretch there too.
Again, a common theme in basketball. Henry Benson looking every bit of 6'1", maybe a little bit more on that layup.
Let Henry score. Let me rephrase that. Henry could probably score when he wanted to. That's just not his role. Booker Copeland is just lighting up the scoreboard.
Every single time the Knights have tied it up or taken a lead, Copeland has buried a deep three.
I don't even know what to say about it.
You just can't even play defense that deep. Because it's just bad basketball to play defense that deep, because Copeland will just take you off the dribble. No shot. Foul goes against Streeter.
Good job by Beckler again. Getting by Streeter. Being the quicker player.
I think we'll see Streeter play quite a few more minutes in the second half. Carleton didn't see that much of him in the first.
Ken Hanson, guarded by Palmer. Spin move with the left, no good, but he got his own rebound and tipped it out to Beck Page. Hanson tries another three. He has
pass.
7.
Great pass from
Kent
Beck
Hanson
Page.
has 7 3-pointers.
Beck Page with a tiny little head fake there. Got the defender to move on to him and left Kent Hanson wide open in the corner. And if there's anyone you don't want to leave open for three, it's Kent Hanson. I think that's a career high in three-pointers for him, too.
Copeland pulls a three. Short this time. 65 all. Knights with the chance to take the lead. Hanson gets by Streeter. In the paint with the left hand.
And the Knights have the lead. 7 3-pointers ties Kent Hanson's career high in three-point attempts. So one more and we'll see him get a new career high. Only 23 points, surprisingly enough.
Copeland. Three-pointer by Palmer. Brick, rebound, Streeter. Streeter working on Hanson. Blocked by Beck Page. The Augies got it back.
Wow. What a pass.
And Copeland got it. Drove on Benson. Benson called for the block.
That's just that unspoken chemistry that you see from Matt Carrick there on the behind-the-back pass to Booker Copeland. Two upperclassmen, you presume they've been playing with each other for quite a while now. And Copeland able to draw the foul on Henry Benson, who rarely gets called for fouls.
The welcome relief for this Knights team, and I think the rest of the MIAC, is Copeland is a senior. Yeah, they're not going to have to see him for. They're not going to have to see him for too much longer. Thank goodness. Although I kind of like watching him play. I just don't like watching him play against the Knights.
Exactly. I think the same thing could be said about Augsburg and the rest of the MIAC in terms of Kent Hanson.
Yeah. Hanson has 23 of his own. 21 of those coming from three-point land. Pass into Batiste. His layup's no good.
Oh, man.
8:30 to play. Knights up 2.
That would have been a great chance for Carleton to get out to a 2-possession lead.
Mitchell's layup goes. .67 all. Streeter came out. Tessier pass to Alex. Offensive foul on Isaac Tessier.
Great move by Matt Carrick.
Carrick drew it.
And it was a great pass from Tessier into a wide open Batiste who would have converted those 2 points. But
oh my goodness, Eric, did you see how the official gave that call?
I did not.
So he punched forward with his arm. Obviously Tessier didn't punch him, but he was trying to like represent how Isaac like knocked him over, even if he didn't punch him. So he goes, white, 11, boom. So
he said
boom. So we got the boom call. Our favorite official, Eric and I's. There's Copeland with another bucket.
He wanted a foul.
Number 30 has 35.
Again, this referee crew, pretty lenient in terms of the fouls.
Kent Hanson with the bucket.
With a nice bucket.
7:27 left to play, 69 all. Palmer. Now Mitchell. Augsburg really taking their time to try and limit Carleton's possessions. Working off the shot clock. Copeland fires and hits. Booker Copeland has 38. The Knights don't have an answer.
Their only answer is to just shoot it themselves. And to their credit, Kent Hanson, they've got a sharpshooter of their own.
The Knights have been playing great offensive basketball. It's just going to come down to who's better, Copeland or the Knights collectively?
Yeah.
And the crazy thing about Booker Copeland is he almost has no time to get himself set to shoot. And a lot of times he's not set to shoot.
No, he's taking these like semi-fading three-pointers 5 feet from behind the arc, and they're just automatic.
Just an absurd amount of talent from Booker Copeland.
Booker Copeland, 14 for 25, 6 for 11 from deep, has those 4 free throw makes.
I'm just not sure too many people understand the game as well as Booker Copeland does. As we get the stats in here, as we mentioned, Copeland with 38. Only one other Augie in double figures. That's Palmer. He has 10. Hanson is 25. Batiste with 20. And Beckler has 15.
Yeah, Booker Copeland, we got the word from Teddy Wolf. His career high, 46 points.
That's in reach.
That coming against St. John's.
It's totally in reach, in my opinion.
Only needs 8 more in 7 minutes. And again, scoring more than the amount of minutes he's played has been no problem for Copeland, who has 38 points in 32 minutes played. The thing is, though, again, he averages 32 minutes a game. So these last 7 minutes will all be relatively unseen territory in terms of playing time for Booker Copeland.
Benson drives, steps through, called for the travel. 6:45 left. Augies 72, Knights 69. Knights are going to find a way to get some stops. Benson gets a stop. Out to Beck Page, pump fakes a three. Benson gets into Batiste, blocked by Booker Copeland.
If I'm Henry Benson, I'm taking that three.
Yeah, I would have too. Great steal by Benson earlier, though. Doing Henry Benson things.
Yeah, problem is Booker Copeland just showing up in every aspect of this game.
Pull up from Mitchell, yes. Augies take a 6-point lead on Martin Mitchell's three.
6-point lead, the biggest in a while.
Tassier tries the three, no good. Batiste with the offensive rebound, and Palmer is called for the foul.
Yeah, the problem is Palmer's trying to say, oh, I got the ball, but Batiste let go after the whistle.
Right. As Palmer's third, he and Batiste are the only players in even small amounts of foul trouble. Both have three. Probably won't make a ton of difference with 5:45 left, but you never know. Hanson's left hand misses, but he's fouled.
Fouled by Booker Copeland. Copeland now has two. Another interesting note about fouls, neither Augsburg big guy in very much foul trouble, but an interesting note is that they both do have two fouls. Now, Augsburg has shown a willingness to play either one at really any time. So if one of them does get into foul trouble, we should see the other one just pick up the slack. But just an interesting note as we get into the final few minutes of this one.
This is very different than that game that we saw the men's team play against Concordia. Everything was a foul. Wasn't that? Yeah, everything was a foul all night. I think Concordia had like 5 players with 4 more fouls.
They did. They had like 28 team fouls.
That's
called.
insanity.
It was like 39 total foul calls on the night. Whereas here,
I think there's like
we've
15.
16.
Yeah, 16 foul calls total. Booker Copeland for 3. No good. Rebound Batiste. Man, you just get a little nervous every time Booker
Every time he
shoots.
pulls up from 3. Luckily, Carleton getting the ball down by just 4 now after the Kent Hanson free throws.
Kent Hanson for 2. No good. Rebound Mitchell. Excuse me, Cart. 75-71. Copeland. Palmer for 3. Yes. Joe Palmer hits a big one.
Joe Palmer, great 3-point shooter in his own right.
Augies up 7, 78-71. Knights are going to need to get going offensively. There's a 3 ball from Hanson. Kent Hanson has 8.
8 threes is a new career high for the senior.
With those 8 threes, Hanson has 30 total.
Uh-oh.
And, Booker Copeland missed. I thought that for
yeah,
sure was.
I'm like,
Batiste drives in with the right hand. No good.
and a blocking foul called on. That's Carrick, not Palmer. I was wondering if it was Palmer giving him his 4th.
That'd have been a big 4th.
That would have been a big 4th. Palmer, the secondary scorer for this Augsburg team, he does have 13 of his own. How is that on Mitchell?
Mitchell was nowhere close to that play.
Mitchell, that was not on Mitchell. You almost want to wonder if they should fix that.
Is that a scoreboard mistake, or is it
I want to hope it's a scoreboard mistake. You just hate for a player to get booked when they shouldn't. Now, again, that is only Mitchell's 2nd if it did get called on him, but
it wouldn't make a huge difference.
Should be Carrick's 1st.
Right.
Batiste will sub out.
The
I can't imagine it would be for too much time.
The Knights are in the bonus, fortunately.
Oh, they are.
They are. So any Augsburg foul will result in 2 Knights free throws.
Or I think
Excuse me,
1 and 1.
1 and 1 for the Knights.
2 more until the double bonus.
78-76, Augsburg leading. Palmer has had himself a great game. Pulls up, foul.
Oh, man. Beck Page gets booked there on the shooting foul. Guy Cullen feels the same way I do.
Guy Cullen's not having it.
Palmer, again, one of those top 6 scorers for the Augies, so a very confident free throw shooter he is.
Yeah, he shoots 85% from the free throw line. Martin Mitchell, if he gets to the free throw line, he shoots 92%.
Only 11 for 12, though.
Really?
Yep.
Oh.
It's kind of like Beck Page shooting 100%, but he's only had 3 attempts.
Ah.
Again, no player on this Augsburg team you want to foul at the end of a game.
Henry Benson. Now Kent with 8 threes already. 10 to shoot. Knights trying to find something. Bit of stagnation in the offense. Benson drives in, finds a lane, blocked by Copeland.
If I'm not mistaken, that's Copeland's 3rd block today.
And Copeland just, Benson had space. Copeland just elevated right over him.
Copeland listed at just 6'3".
He looks a lot bigger
He
than
does
6'3".
look a lot. I mean,
think that's just
against
wrong.
the 6'6" Kent Hanson, they look that maybe they're separated by an inch.
I'm 6'2". Copeland is not an inch taller than me. There's a 2-point bucket from Carrick. Gives the Augies a 6-point lead. Hanson, cross-court pass to Batiste. 3-point bucket, no good. Rebound Augsburg.
Carleton's got to step up on the defensive end here. Down 6 with 2.5 left.
Copeland with the ball in his hands. Now Duncan. Duncan sweeping through. Beckler playing hard. Now Copeland's got a mismatch on Beckler.
He wants the ISO.
Booker Copeland.
Beckler up for the challenge.
Beckler gets him to miss. Copeland's runner, no good. Here come the Knights. Kent Hanson, pull-up triple. That's no good. Rebound Batiste. Batiste loses it in the paint. Copeland comes up with it.
And what a play to call timeout there.
Yep. Coach Grease calls a quick timeout. So at the minute 56, Augsburg's going to have the ball, and they're going to be up by 6, 82-76.
I think Carleton played great defense. Jeremy Beckler had the one-on-one matchup against Booker Copeland, won it, got the rebound, and then Carleton unable to capitalize on the other side. Regardless, we have seen a monster game from 3 players in particular. For Augsburg, Booker Copeland has shown why he's the best offensive player in the MIAC. I think it's safe to give him that title after seeing him today. 38 points for the senior on 14 of 27 shooting and 6 of 13 from deep. Meanwhile, for Carleton, Kent Hanson and Alex Batiste really showed up on the scoring today. Hanson has 30, 11 boards, and the most notable stat for him in this one, 8 of 10 three-point shooting. I think it's 8 for 11 after that miss on the pull-up. Regardless, that is insane. Alex Batiste also has had a great day today. 22 points with 3 rebounds, including a pair of clutch offensive rebounds, or 3 offensive rebounds for the sophomore.
Kent Hanson has a really quiet 11 boards.
Yeah, that's the thing is, whenever you see Kent Hanson score, he's really just scoring at will, has the big momentum shots. Whenever he gets those rebounds, it just seems like it's always him. Meanwhile, Henry Benson, with a Henry Benson type of game, 4 points, 4 boards, 6 assists.
It's classic.
Classic Henry Benson.
2 steals, I think. Yes, 2 steals. Henry Benson doing Henry Benson things.
Hopefully he can come up with that 3rd steal on this possession.
And that's all without the Buzz Lightyear socks.
I know, although he is sporting a very nice pair of socks today, too. Not sure exactly what's on them.
Ten to shoot. Booker Copeland, guarded by Batiste.
Copeland a 3 or any type of bucket here could kind of ice it.
Copeland's drive is good. 84-76. Knights need a quick bucket here. Minute 20 left. They're down 8.
And hopefully a bucket of the three-point variety.
There's a 3 for Jeremy Beckler. That is way short. Copeland comes up with the rebound, and that's probably going to do it.
Yeah, it's just a minute left. Carleton, again, going to play hard defense here. Henry Benson trying to swipe. He'll get called for the foul there. That'll put Carrick at the line for a 1-and-1. If he makes both, it'll be a 4-possession game with just a minute left.
That'll just about do it. And Copeland has 40.
Wow.
It's pretty good.
I mean, there's not much you can do if you're Carleton.
No, I mean, what do you do? I mean, Copeland has been...
They haven't, if you're Augsburg, just looking at your shooting, hasn't been the best day. 47% from the field, 38% from 3. Again, they haven't. It's not like they've made every 3. Booker Copeland has made a plethora of deep 3s that have just been huge momentum swings for this Augsburg team. But the rest of the team not shooting great around him. A very winnable game for Carleton. I think the difference here, not in the shooting, Carleton actually having a great day shooting. 50% both from the field and from behind the arc, and shooting 91% from the free throw stripe. The difference here is going to be those 12 offensive rebounds that Augsburg has today, compared to Carleton's 4. Again, those second chance points, surprisingly actually going in Carleton's favor. Not something I expected.
How does that work?
I don't know. Carleton has 9. Augsburg only has 4. That may be a miscalculation.
Yeah, you're telling me you get 4 second chance points off 12 offensive rebounds? No way. Minute left to play here. Kent Hanson raises up. Palmer gets whistled for the foul.
Yeah, I think at best that's just going to add to Hanson's total. Again, Hanson's career high 35 that came against Finlandia down in Florida when the Knights traveled down there this December.
Kent has 30 right now.
He put up 33 against St. Mary's in the overtime thriller. Sadly, Carleton was not able to come up with a win here at West Gym in that one. Batiste will sub out.
Hanson hits both. It's an 8-point game, 53 to play. Benson fouls. Carrick goes to the line again. You really just don't want to foul anybody.
Yeah, that's. I mean,
this lineup. I mean, Carter Duncan, I figure would be preferable, but Carter, if you watch that last play, Carter Duncan,
he was already down on the other half of the floor.
Yeah, Carter Duncan, the center for this Augsburg team. The 4 smaller players all shoot above 82% from the free throw line.
I don't think Carter Duncan's gonna touch the ball if Augsburg can help it.
As soon as Hanson sank that second free throw, Carter just took off.
Still got 48 seconds left. Don't write the Knights off.
Benson dribbles it across after the Carrick miss and calls a timeout. They're only down by 9.
Quick Kent Hanson 3.
3 of them.
Well, you got to take it one by one.
Right.
Quick Kent Hanson 3. Play the press again. Get a steal. Another Kent Hanson 3. You're only down by 3. Simple.
I really thought we were going to see Booker Copeland get more than
maybe
46.
Career high, yeah. When he had 38 with 7 minutes left.
Yep.
Been kept relatively quiet in the second part of this game. But the rest of this Augie offense picking up for him.
other than Copeland. Carrick now has 10, and Palmer has 15, including 3 triples. He shot overall 50% from the field.
Martin Mitchell has 10 as well. Henry Mulligan playing very limited minutes in this one. I guess Coach Grease not thinking he needs to risk his players' health if, again, only speculation. We may have heard that he was dealing with a bit of an ankle injury.
Inbound into Benson. Beckler from the top of the key. There's 1-3.
Still got 40 seconds left.
That cuts it to 6. Quick 3 from Jeremy Beckler. Carleton playing a wild amount of press, forces Copeland to call a timeout.
But because they didn't inbound it, or do they still get the ball above half by using a timeout? I'm not sure.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I think the ball stays down there.
I think it does too.
Carleton playing great. You saw that 4-man press.
Yep. It's a great job by Carleton, and there was no structure to that press either.
No.
I mean, there was
just
people it was just trying to deny the ball.
You sort of saw 3 guys man on. Isaac Tessier was sort of a free man, but then it was switching around. I mean, I didn't see anyone open, and I guess Booker Copeland didn't see anyone open either.
Well, ironically enough, it's going to force Carter Duncan.
Yeah, they're going to run this. What would you call this? The wheel play?
I don't know. They're running something.
Merry-go-round?
Copeland gets it in.
Carousel?
To Carrick. And Carrick's going to shoot free throws.
Carrick made both in his first time at the line. His second time at the line went just 1 for 2. Batiste will sub in. If we see a stoppage of play, I think we'll see Page come back in.
I think it's quite possible.
Maybe not, though.
I think it's quite possible that Beck Page comes back on if Henry Benson picks up his 5th. Because in the over the course of this free throw shooting and fouling game that the Knights are trying to play, Henry Benson all of a sudden has 4 fouls.
Yeah.
So Carrick hits 2, puts the Augies back up 8. Knights are going to need a quick 3. But Benson's going to come down and immediately call a timeout with 37 seconds left. Man, with how fast this game moved earlier, this is seeming very slow.
Yeah. Well, again, you said in the first half, I think only 1 timeout used between the 2 teams in the first half.
Yep.
Very few fouls. Now we see both teams in the bonus. 1 more foul would put either team in the double bonus. And these teams are using almost all of their timeouts as well.
So a 3-pointer for Carleton will cut the deficit to 5. It's currently an 8-point game, 89-81. Hanson has 32. Copeland still at 40. Mitchell now in double figures for Augsburg. I don't think this one is over, but it's certainly looking like a pretty steep climb for the Knights. Carleton will get it on their offensive half. On the floor for the Knights, Benson, Batiste, Beckler, Page, and Kent Hanson. Hanson still has 8 threes.
Just 3 points would tie his career high of 35.
Lob into Benson. Now a 3-ball from Beck Page. There's a 3 from Beck Page. 89-84.
Carleton not fouling until Carrick gets behind Beck Page, and then he'll foul.
So now it's a 5-point game. Unfortunately, Carrick is going to shoot 2 as the Knights are in the double bonus.
Just a 5-point game. We've seen crazier things.
We have.
Again, Carleton trading 3 points for 2 points, and they have fouls to give.
And there's a big miss from Matt Carrick.
Interestingly enough, we see a new substitution. Isaiah Robinson is on the court for the Augies. We have not seen him at all yet this game.
That has to be a free throw thing.
It's not. He's only 2 for 7 on the season.
Well,
I was looking for the exact same thing. That it has to be a free throw thing.
Yeah, but I mean, 7 free. That's a pretty small sample size. Maybe
he might be
something was
great
going
in
on.
practice. True.
Yes. Free ball from
That's
Page. That
no good.
misses everything, but Hanson grabs it and puts it up and lays it in for 2. 4-point game, 21 to play. Isaiah Robinson has it.
Oh, smart play. Smart play from the senior. I was wondering if he'd go up for the layup, potentially give Jeremy Beckler a chance to block it. Robinson giving no such chance. Instead, he turns around and gets fouled.
And he tried to just dribble to the corner.
Yeah, coach. Well, it's like a soccer thing.
Yeah.
Just
try and kill as much time as you can.
probably killed an extra 2 seconds there.
And he didn't get fouled. That was a timeout called by Augsburg.
Oh, it was.
It was. So 18 seconds left. It's a 4-point game.
It looked like Jeremy Beckler was trying
He
to foul.
He tried, but the officials gave Augsburg the timeout first.
So probably not a free throw thing. I think if Robinson was super good from the line, he probably would have just accepted the fact that he was going to get fouled there.
Yep.
Instead, my guess is they'll try to inbound to Matt Carrick. Maybe not, actually. Hasn't been great from the line.
I think you got to try and get it to Mitchell.
Clutch. Yeah, maybe Mitchell. But Mitchell hasn't even shot a free throw, so maybe he's cold. I wonder if we'll see Booker Copeland go out on the floor instead of inbounding. And that's exactly what we will see. And we will also see no big man on the floor for the Augies.
Robinson to inbound.
Tallest player on the floor is the 6'3" Copeland. And
They
there
get
they
it
do,
to
yeah, right to Mitchell.
They get it to Mitchell. Mitchell's 11 for 12 with free throws on the year. 17 seconds left.
11 for 12, so yeah, used to shooting when he hasn't had the most attempts. Not a great sign for this Carleton team, although he can, at most, he can make it a 6-point game.
Mitchell's first is good.
Benson will come on for Tessier.
It's a 5-point game now. 17.8 on the clock.
Carleton 1 timeout.
Clutch free throws from Martin Mitchell. It's a 6-point game. Carleton needs another 3. Precious seconds ticking off. Kent Hanson gets Isaiah Robinson on his back and puts up a 3. No good. Jump ball is called. It'll be Augie ball with 6 seconds left.
That might do it.
That is going to do it.
Just 6 seconds left, unless we see a 5-second violation of some sort.
Carleton just took a little bit too much time off the clock. Beck Page nearly forced a steal, and he fouls Mitchell with 4 seconds left. Mitchell's going to go to the line for 2 again. That is Beck's 5th.
He'll foul out.
Tessier comes back on.
Page should have that nice and one that he converted earlier in this one, and did have a, at the time, clutch 3-point basket.
The Augies are going to pull everybody off.
Smart play. Only 4 seconds now on the clock. They just shaved 2 off.
Mitchell's first is good, and that's going to put, it was probably out of reach anyway, but that's going to put this one out of reach for sure.
Yeah, 7-point lead for the Augies. Very high scoring game, though. And a miss from Mitchell.
The clock is going to expire as Henry Benson chucks up a 3 and hit it.
Hey, that'll improve the percentages.
It will. Henry Benson chucks up a last-second 3 from the intersection of the volleyball lines, about 35 feet out, and drilled it, but to no avail. Final score here from West Gym, Augies 93, Knights 89.
So I think we'll have Coach Guy Cullen on the call after this one. I don't really know if he's going to say anything too surprising.
I mean, what can you say? Copeland was fantastic. We tried our best. Kent shot really well.
Our team shot really well.
Ball didn't bounce our way. Sometimes that's how it shakes out.
Yeah, again, a 4-point game. More accurately, a 7-point game. Henry Benson with the last-second 3-point chuck.
So hopefully we will indeed have Coach Cullen on. Sometimes it takes us a couple minutes to
Yeah, he always
get
likes
him on
to
here.
go talk to his team.
And
again, that's always the priority
right,
after
of course.
a game, is making sure you talk to your team and tell them what they want to hear.
Right.
Or maybe what they should hear.
We're just getting the final stats in from this one. Kent Hanson finishes a point shy of his career all-time high with 34.
With 12 boards to go with
12 boards, 3 assists, 2 blocks.
And again, the sort of big three front court for Carleton, all contributing 18 points or more. Beckler with 18, Batiste 22, and Hanson again with those 34 points. Kent Hanson played every single second of this game.
It's impressive. I mean, nobody.
So did 3 Augsburg players. Matt Carrick, Joe Palmer, and Booker Copeland, along with Kent Hanson. The 4 players never came off the floor.
Well, they had to, right? You know, there's.
Right. They
had
did have to.
They had to. Carleton
even when Booker Copeland was not relied on for his shooting, he was either inbounding or just being the focus for Carleton's defense. Yeah.
Knights really played a great game and kind of forced Copeland to stay on the floor. I mean, I feel like Augsburg a lot of times, even though they got blown out by St. Thomas and this was a close game, I have a feeling that oftentimes Augsburg is probably blowing teams out.
Yeah.
Especially with their offensive output from Copeland and Palmer and others.
Oh, my goodness.
I would figure that sometimes they can get Copeland a little bit of rest.
We haven't really checked up on too many other games because of how exciting this one was. Speaking of blowouts, the Tommies have won yet another game by 40 points. They won 106-67 at Gustavus Adolphus. 39 points, but still, and yet another blowout for a Tommies team that looks to be getting insanely hot at just the right time. Meanwhile, Bethel took care of business against the third to last McAllister Scots. St. John's won fairly handily in a rather low-scoring game against Hamlin. That one finished 71. Johnny's Pipers 57.
There's just no stopping St. Thomas right now, is there?
No, or St. John's. St. Thomas, again, did lose to St. John's, but no other team in this conference really being able to do any damage against either of those teams. I think the game here at West Gym, where the Johnnies came in and played a close one, that may have been their toughest game of the year.
I think you're right.
And St. Mary's looks to just be wrapping things up against Concordia. Concordia started the game on an 8-0 run, but St. Mary's took care of business. They won 78-62, so that's not great for the Carleton Knights, seeing as St. Mary's is currently 6th in playoff standings, and they're going to get all the way up to 6 and 7, while the Carleton Knights are going to fall to 5 and 10.
And that's a really tough 5 and 10. I mean, I know the MIAC's tough, and I know that that's kind of the way the ball bounces, but man, that St. Mary's game was winnable. This game was winnable.
St. John's was winnable.
St. John's was winnable. I mean, let's look at some of these ones. Gustavus, they lost by about 10. I bet they could have, you know, Coach Cullen would say that they could have competed a little better in that one.
Well, they do get a chance to face Gustavus again at home on Wednesday.
Is that a doubleheader?
I don't think so. It's not. So finally a little bit of relief, as I think the women will travel to Gustavus. Let's look at we got game days for both teams.
Yep.
Yeah. The women will be playing at
The women go to Gustavus. The women go to the 23rd in the country, Gustavus.
Yeah, the last doubleheader we have here at West Gym will be the senior day for both teams as we face the St. Olaf Olies. That one happening on February 15th, so quite a while down the road.
So again, for those of you at home, we are hoping to hear from Coach Collin any minute now. He usually likes to go in and talk to his guys after games, and hopefully we will see him come out of the locker room shortly. To remind everybody at home, we will be doing the women's game. In about 20 minutes is going to be tip-off. Pretty interesting matchup for the women, too. Another really talented Augsburg team.
Yeah, and the Augsburg women are actually, unlike the men, ranked. They're number, I want to say 19 in the nation.
They are 19th.
19th in the nation,
ranked.
one of 4 MIAC women's teams in the top 25 in the country. So a tough matchup for both of these teams today at West Gym.
Coach Sammy in our pregame talk was pretty straightforward with it. You know, like Augsburg's a good team. We're going to have to play really well.
Yep.
And sometimes that's all it chalks up to.
And I think Coach Cullen was sort of alluding to the same things, although maybe not putting it as straightforward as that. And Carleton, to their credit, did play a great offensive game today.
They didn't play a very Carleton game, though.
No, they did not play a very Carleton-like game. And that's going to happen when you're facing the top offense in the game. Perhaps, maybe if they had another chance in that one, they could try to control the momentum a little bit. But when you're facing a team that's scoring in 5 seconds or less, Booker Copeland's just nailing deep threes. There's only so much you can do on the defensive end. You just got to try to score as much as you can.
So we've been told from the booth that Guy Cullen will not be coming on the broadcast. So that is going to conclude the men's game and our men's broadcast for today's doubleheader between the Carleton Knights and the Augsburg Aggies. Be sure to tune in about 15 minutes for pregame ceremonies for the women's matchup between the Carleton Knights and Augsburg.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Game 2 of this doubleheader on Knights Online. I'm Eric Jones, joined as always by Jacob Smith. And we're going to see a Knights women's team facing a number 19 ranked Augsburg squad.
This is going to be a tough game for this Lady Knights team. I mean, they have their work totally cut out for them. Augsburg's a very talented team, and as we talked to head coach Metcalf Hills in our pregame, Carleton's going to have to bring everything. The Knights typically play really good defense, but they've definitely had their shooting woes. Has been well documented by both Eric and I. And if they want to compete in this one, they're going to have to shoot the ball a little better than they have been.
Yeah, shooting woes continued in their 53-50 win against Concordia this Wednesday. Katie Chavez, though, no shooting woes for her as she went off for 24 points, including a perfect 11 for 11 from the free throw line, and including some very clutch free throws, which ended up bringing the lead to 3. And even if Concordia's sort of last-second heave had gone in, it still would have gone to overtime. We're going to see Katie back again. I think this is her third game back from that ankle injury. Has not seemed to hamper her in the slightest in the 2 games that she's been back. So we're going to see if this Knights team is up for the challenge against, again, a number 19 ranked Augsburg team that has just a lot of strengths. They're very physical. They shoot the ball well. You know, we'll see what happens. Coach Ted Reverso will try out his lineup. It's number 1, Ariana Jones, joined by Tamira McLemore at the guard spots. On the wing, it's Asia Wilson, as well as Cameron Speece. And down low, it's number 45, Jasmine Solseth, who stands only at 5'10". So perhaps a bit of a size advantage for Sam Cook down low.
Similar 5 faces that we see pretty much on a regular basis for this Knights team. Ayanna Whitfield, Anna Hughes, Jillian I, Katie Chavez, and Samantha Cook.
Yeah, I mean, those are the 5 starters.
Those are the 5 starters. Those are pretty much always the 5 starters.
Yep.
And it's going to come down to whether Carleton makes shots or not.
Yep.
I think. I mean, there's really nothing more to it. Carleton gets open looks. They play good defense. They rebound the ball well. They're just going to have to put the ball in the hole, period.
Their shooting splits have kind of plummeted after a pretty decent shooting start to the season. So we'll see if they can improve on those numbers today. But we're going to swing it down to the PA for some pregame announcements and our national anthem.
I don't think we're doing the national anthem, are we?
We're not doing the national anthem.
We're not doing the national anthem.
Oh my goodness. So we will stay on air. I keep doing that. I'm so used to the routine of like, all right, we're going to swing it down to PA.
We're going to kick it to the PA for the national anthem.
But again, national anthem done before the men's game, so no need to do it twice.
I mean, we're all for patriotism here.
Oh, we are, absolutely. But it would be sort of weird to do it twice.
2 times,
yeah.
Right. Right. Even though, you know, there's certainly a different crowd probably, you know, between the women's games and the men's games. I think, especially in terms of the visiting team composition, a lot of these players for Augsburg in general, just about all of them with the exception of one for the women's team, are from Minnesota. And I bet the same applies for the men, or I bet it's pretty close.
Yep.
And a lot of these games are driving distance for all the parents and grandparents and other friends and family of these players.
Yeah, you see a decent amount of away colors almost every time here at West Gym.
Meanwhile, on the Carleton side, I see a Montana, I see an Illinois, I see a California, Colorado, Washington, and a Missouri.
There you go.
Picture that.
Yeah, just 4 players on this Carleton roster from Minnesota. One of those 4, Ayanna Whitfield. Yeah, I mean, a lot of geographical diversity here at Carleton.
Well, there always is. I mean,
you look at the 2 of us.
Yeah.
You're a California kid. I'm
coast
from
to
the
coast.
East Coast. It's like, what are we doing here in Minnesota?
What in the world are we doing here in Minnesota? A lot of times I think that when it gets to negative 30 outside. You know, I think, oh, I could have gone to UCLA. I could be on the beach. Instead, I chose to come to Carleton College. That's a decision I don't regret for a second.
Not at all. Feel the same way, Jacob.
It's a wonderful place to go to school. But sometimes I will say when it's negative 30 and I have to walk from Burton residency to the rec center for baseball practice, that's tough. That's a good 15-minute walk in negative 30.
That is a tough.
That's a tough look.
Yeah, my lottery number for housing next year maybe looking at me I think rooming somewhere in Evans, hopefully.
What'd you get?
Like 31.25 or something like that.
125 is not going to get you Evans.
Yeah, someone said it would.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
not.
think so.
For context, for those at home, every single member of each class is assigned a number from 0 to about 500 per class size. And Eric and I are talking about where we're going to live next year.
Meanwhile, this game is kicked off, and it's a three-point attempt from Ariana Jones that's no good. But Spies picks up the offensive rebound. Another three-point attempt, this time from Tamira McLemore, and it's good. So this Augsburg women's team showing signs of similarity with the men's the counterpart men's team, firing away from deep.
Thinking about this night offense, Eric, I want to see a couple things. I want to see him shoot the ball well from deep, which, you know, we haven't seen very frequently. I want to see Katie Chavez and Samantha Cook run the pick and roll, and I want to see Jillian and I attack the bucket.
Yeah, missed three-point shot from Anna Hughes there, but some miscommunication leads to a Carleton steal. So they'll have it right back. That one is deflected by Solseth. So Jones passes to Tamira McLemore, and just like that, McLemore's got 5.
Good pass to lead McLemore.
Now, she is the Augsburg point guard. But Ariana Jones, at least for me, I've got to like her because we have the same last name.
Oh, naturally.
Jillian Nye mid-range shot, no good. Offensive rebound, Sam Cook, and she puts the layup right in for Carleton's first 2 points. Meanwhile, McLemore handling the ball, but they'll swing it around. Spies now working against Katie Chavez, has the ball poked loose. There's Asia Wilson off a pick from Spies. McLemore drives, her shot no good. She gets the offensive rebound though. And this Augsburg, Augies women's team is just dominating time of possession so far. That misrebounded by Sam Cook.
That could totally spell doom for the Knights if Augsburg is dominating.
3-point Jillian Nye, no good.
If Augsburg's dominating time of possession.
Yeah.
We talked with Coach Tammy earlier. She really wanted to make sure that the Knights took their time, you know, on the offensive end of the court, trying to limit possessions for this Augsburg team.
Augsburg working outside. Asia Wilson, corner 3, no good. Rebound goes Jillian Nye's way. Carleton taking it on offense. Sam Cook working down low, but the ball is stolen.
Good
No
job
foul.
Good job by Augsburg on the double.
And Ariana Jones with another assist. This time it's into Jasmine Solseth, who puts it in for 2.
Cook got that one in the post, and 3 Augsburg girls just immediately collapsed on her.
Yep. They've definitely done their research. Meanwhile, Anna Hughes is fouled by Solseth on a reach. And we will see 3 Carleton substitutions. Katie Chavez checks back in, who had been subbed out maybe 30 seconds prior. And it's Margie Klaus and Erica Elfson seeing their first minutes in this one. Jillian Nye inside now. Nice move from the post and gets that one in for 2.
Looks like a little bit of confidence from Jillian. We didn't see much of her offensively.
Ariana Jones buries that three-pointer. Yeah, I agree with you, Jacob.
We didn't see much of her offensively in the game against Concordia.
No, I think she started off the game a little bit cold from the arc and just shied away from shooting for the rest of that one.
Well, where she shines is how strong she is with the ball and how quick she is and what she can do off the drive.
Speaking of driving, she drives and kicks out to Margie Klaus, who takes a mid-range shot that I don't know if we've seen that at all from her yet this season, and she buries it.
Let Margie shoot.
Few steps there by Cameron Spiess, although doesn't get that one in. Outlet pass to Margie Klaus, although she was a little bit too fast and had a terrible angle on that layup, and it was no good. Asia Wilson outside. Yes. And this Augsburg team showing proficiency from outside.
Imagine that. Augsburg shoots the three ball. That's all we've seen all day.
That's all we've seen all day. Katie Chavez deep three, no good. Wow. Bit of a surprise. We've seen Katie Chavez make threes like no one else, except for maybe Booker Copeland.
Kent Hanson had quite the day himself.
He did.
You go 8 for 11 or something like that?
Another three-point attempt from this Augsburg team. This time it's no good. Julia Nye slips inside. Nice pass from Erica Ellefson. And Julia Nye's got 4. Augies 13, Knights 8, halfway through this first quarter.
This Carleton team offensively really needs to, kind of play to their strengths. I feel like sometimes they really want to be an outside shooting team as there's some outside shooting.
Well, Coach Tammy said before the game of Asia Wilson, who is the number 23 for the Augsburg Augies.
NBA range, right?
NBA range.
NBA range.
An NBA range from the other number 23 in this one, Katie Chavez. They try to find Yanai inside again. This time she's fouled by Jones. That'll be Jones's first and Augsburg's second. That's the one thing that Carleton has done really well so far in this one, is they have not yet fouled.
Not a lot of fouls in this one either. It's kind of strange. All we do
Down
is
pass goes to Katie Chavez, but it's tipped away by number 32, Selena Lohr.
Chavez gets tacked with that foul. It's her first, fortunately.
And we saw 3 subs come in for Augsburg. Kasia Wubin, number 5, as well as Jen Macello and Selena Lohr, who was fouled by Katie Chavez on that last possession. Margie Klaus now dribbling outside. Ball finds its way to Katie Chavez, as it does so often. 8 seconds left now on the shot clock. Chavez passes to Cook, whose mid-range shot sadly no good. Now we see Lohr handling the ball. Inside to Spiess, she is blocked by by Sam Cook. But she's also fouled. All ball, says a Carleton parent, and I can't help but agree.
Yeah, that one looked pretty close.
Meanwhile, Cameron Spiess is at the line. Spiess just a 58% shooter from the line. Entering this one, she had a perfect 100 attempts and made exactly 58 of them. Her second no good, but Anna Hughes is fouled as she tried to box out Spiess. This Augies team proving pretty physical. And the Augies will now do the press. Great athletic move by Katie Chavez, and she will be fouled.
Ah, look at that.
This time by Kasia Wubin.
See, that is the classic Katie Chavez move that we talked about last
Classic.
time.
Accelerate down the floor, get the player out of position, and then they foul.
And try and get Kays to bump into you a little bit and see what happens.
Katie now kicks it out to Sam Cook, who drives inside, takes a layup, and that one's good. Katie Chavez assisting Sam Cook. How many times have we seen that this year? Shooting foul on Anna Hughes will send Wubin to the line.
Couple subs here for the Knights. Klaus and Chavez come out.
Wubin, not a great free throw shooter either. In fact, this Augsburg team shoots only 63% from the line. But Wubin makes her first.
Yeah, kind of some eclectic percentages for this Augsburg team, free throw wise.
Eclectic percentages.
Eclectic. Well, there's a couple 100% here, even if they're only 6 for 6. But then there's a couple high 70s and then a 53 and a 58. Not an awesome free throw shooting team on the whole.
Speaking of free throw shooters in the high 70s, there's Jillian Nye driving, and she gets another bucket. Brings her total to 6. That leads the game.
She's super effective when she attacks the bucket.
And there's an offensive foul. That'll go against Wubin. I think that's her second already. It is.
There's a weird foul on Katie Chavez.
That's strange.
Yes.
And that's Katie's second.
That's a huge
So
foul.
again, on a Carleton team that is not very deep, those
They can't really
little
afford,
fouls
yeah,
are just terrible.
They can't really afford to have Katie in foul trouble.
Meanwhile, Asia Wilson subs back on. And that pass seemingly nowhere. You also see Nicole Zielsdorf check in. Her first minutes in this one. Augie 16, Knights 12, 2:30 left in the first quarter. And another pass gone awry, this time for Carleton. There is Zielsdorf. Inside
take.
move by Jen Masello. Gets her 2 points.
Begs the question, is Jen Masello left-handed?
She might be.
She looked really smooth with the left hand.
She's either great with both hands or a lefty. Sam Cook left wide open for mid-range, but her shot is no good. Ayana Whitfield looked to almost have that offensive rebound, but didn't get there. Augsburg swinging it around outside. Lornow inside to Masello, again with the left.
Yeah, I think she's left-handed. If she's not left-handed, she's a pretty impressive player.
Carleton down 8 now. Needs some score to scoring. Sam Cook instead takes it inside, and she's fouled by Masello. So Sam Cook to the line for 2. A sight you gotta love to see.
I'd like to point out there, Jillian Nye already has, a couple drives for scores. She's been a lot stronger taking the ball inside. She took the ball inside there, got it to a wide open Sam Cook, who got fouled and went to the free throw line. Which, honestly, is about the best thing that could possibly happen for the Knights is Sam Cook at the free throw line. I know we talk about it a lot, but, I mean, Like the proof's in the pudding.
I mean, if you're the Carleton offense, your probably two best offensive possessions are going to end up in a Katie Chavez 3 or Sam Cook free throws.
Two very high-scoring games.
Vucicevic is fouled by Zielsdorf.
That's a tough foul for Zielsdorf.
Almost was a backcourt violation.
Exactly. Almost a backcourt violation. That was nearly, you know, Carleton was kind of on the ropes offensively.
Yep. Carleton in the bonus. So Vucicevic will go to the line for 2. We rarely see Asha at the line.
I was going to say.
That was her 3rd attempt of the season. 3rd attempt of the season, good. 4th attempt, no good. Wilson now outside working on Vucicevic. An open Zielsdorf in the corner, nails another 3. Augies up by 11 now. Just 2 seconds left. Whitfield takes a deep 2, which is no good. And the quarter will end with the Augies at 26 points. Knights 15.
That's a really impressive offensive half for the Augsburg Augies. And not a bad one for the Knights.
Offensive quarter.
Or offensive quarter, excuse me.
I mean, it feels like a
yeah,
half.
Yeah, it feels like a half,
points.
man.
That's what we see a lot in these Knights games. 26 points is an impressive total.
And not a bad quarter for the Knights either. One of the better ones that I think we've seen.
Yeah, they have
honestly.
They have not made a 3, but they're still shooting 45% from the field. The problem is those turnovers. Carleton with 3 of them already. Augsburg does have 2, but Augsburg's been able to capitalize. They have 4 points off turnovers. Carleton with none. Yeah, it's just this outside shooting is where the difference lies. I mean, Carleton more points in the paint. No huge discrepancies in any of the major stats so far other than those 3 3-point baskets that Augsburg has.
Carleton's just going to have to find a way to push Augsburg off the 3-point line.
Second quarter commences. Katie Chavez back on the floor, so good news for Carleton. She's going to have to stay out of foul trouble, though. She cuts. Good pass from Ellefson, and good move from Chavez, but it's no good. Rebound does go to Margie Klaus, though. Carleton swings it around. Ayana Whitfield from 3. Yes. Meanwhile, Jones and McLemore back on the floor for Augsburg. They'll start the second quarter almost the same as they started the first. Only difference.
Let Jill take it to the hole, man.
Yeah, Jillian Nye. Only difference for Augsburg, Asia Wilson not currently on the floor. They'll opt for Zielsdorf, who is 2 for 2 from 3. Spiess now finds a wide open Jones for 3, who nails her shot. Jillian Nye displeased. Erica Elfson fakes a 3-point shot. Looking for anyone, no one's open. She'll dribble, find Whitfield. 8 seconds left on the shot clock. Whitfield looking for anything. She'll try driving. And we'll get a blocking foul against Zielsdorf. So that's her second. Another new face. This time it's Jaylee Copeland. Notable for Copeland, she is the younger sister of Booker Copeland. who we just saw drop a 40-burger on Carleton men's basketball. And there's another foul. This time it's against Ariana Jones. Called for the reach against Sam Cook.
A lot of basketball talent in the Copeland family.
Yeah, we'll see.
Fair amount.
We'll see Jaylee, how she does. A lot of basketball talent and a lot of hair.
Yeah.
Booker Copeland,
Some really nice
one
hair.
of the better hairstyles we've seen in MIAC men's basketball. Great drive by Cameron Spiess there. She took it strong to the basket, and no Carleton defenders followed. Chavez now outside. Dishes to Klaus. Yanai drives yet again. No foul called. And there's Copeland on the outlet. Passes it to Spiess, who takes it inside on the reverse, and that one is good. Timeout called by Tammy. First Gatorade timeout of this quarter. First Gatorade timeout of this game.
Yep. I
Maybe
think
a little bit surprising considering Carleton, not the first time they've been down by double digits.
I think Yanai needs to get the foul call there.
Yeah.
That may have been a missed call.
Yeah, Jasmine Solstice tried to draw a charge and hit the floor pretty hard. No call either way.
I'm a big fan of the 80s music that they play during, during timeouts in the middle of the game. Great, great variety. A little bit of Take On Me by Aha.
Take On Me by Aha. A classic throwback. Not even a throwback, because neither of us were alive when it was
before
released.
we were born. Way before.
Another drive by Jillian Nye, this time off a pass by Anna Hughes. She's up to 10 points.
Let her drive, man. That's what Jill does. It's what she needs to do. I feel like she kind of lost.
3-point from Copeland, no good.
I feel like she kind of lost her identity when Carleton was shooting a ton of threes, but she is so dangerous going to the hole.
Got a little bit of flashbacks when I said 3-point by Copeland.
Oh, no.
Pass from Anna Hughes. Stolen by McLemore, who takes it herself for three, and that one's good. Quite a few sharpshooters for this Augsburg women's team.
There's something in the water in Augsburg. Bunch of shooters over there.
Another steal by McLemore. This time she takes it to the rack. No good. Good defense by Jillian Nye, but she's called for the foul after Spiess gets the offensive rebound. Asha and Wubin check back in. Carleton almost gave Laura a wide open three-point attempt. Spiess questioning the ref that there was no foul. To me, it looked like she was hit pretty obviously, but no call, and there's Whitfield with her second three of the game. Corner three by Wubin, in and out. Rebound Yanai yet again. Jillian Nye could end up with a double-double pretty easily in this one. She drives again, this time no good with the left. Lore's pass to Wubin. She drives on Anna Hughes.
Good finish.
And that time it's good. I was going to say good defense by Anna Hughes there, but Wubin able to get the ball in right over her.
Wubin finished through two defenders.
Whitfield driving this time. She's fouled by Copeland. Now, seeing as the two of us are both underclassmen still, Jacob, what are the odds we see in 2 years Jaylee Copeland score a ton of points here in West Gym.